The Supreme Court just shut down an appeals court for deciding a case based on a legal question that neither side actually asked the court to consider. In Margolin v.'s National Association of Immigration Judges, the justices unanimously reversed an appeals court that tried to rewrite the rules governing federal employee complaints, all on its own initiative. The case highlights how political attitudes can change the system Congress created to handle workplace disputes. It's a fundamental tension in American law. Nine Robes uses nonpartisan, everyday language to focus on the facts of what the Supreme Court is saying. Here, you'll find clear, concise summaries of every Supreme Court opinion, stripped of legalese and clickbait headlines. Each post breaks down the facts, explains the court's reasoning, and highlights the crucial details that often go unnoticed. It's not just about what the court decided. It's about why those decisions matter, to give you a deeper understanding of the cases that define our nation's legal landscape. These summaries are generated by AI. Be careful and consult reputable sources when in doubt. Immigration judges challenged a federal policy that required them to get permission before giving public speeches about their work. They claimed the policy violated their constitutional rights to free speech and due process. But here's where it gets complicated. Federal law says that when federal employees have workplace complaints, they have to go through a special review board called the Merit Systems Protection Board, not regular federal courts. Both the lower court and appeals court agreed the immigration judges had to use that special board instead of suing in federal court. But then the appeals court did something unusual. On its own, without either side asking, it started investigating whether recent political changes had broken the Merit Systems Protection Board so badly that the whole system no longer worked. The Supreme Court said, "Stop right there." The Supreme Court's decision was straightforward and unanimous. In our legal system, judges are supposed to decide the cases that parties bring to them, not invent new cases on their own. When a court goes beyond what both sides actually argued and creates entirely new legal questions, it's unfair and it breaks how the system is supposed to work. That's exactly what happened here. The immigration judges made a narrow argument. Their free speech claims were special and should be handled differently. The appeals court turned that into a sweeping question about whether the entire federal employee review system needed to be rethought because of political disruptions. Nobody asked the court to do that. The Supreme Court reversed the decision and sent it back. Underneath this procedural ruling sits a genuinely difficult question that the Supreme Court deliberately chose not to answer. Can a law's meaning change if the government system it depends on stops working properly? Justice Thomas, joined by Justice Barrett, went further in a separate opinion. He argued that even if the appeals court had properly raised the question, the answer would be no. A law means what it says, and that meaning doesn't shift because political circumstances change. If Congress wants to change how federal employees file complaints, Congress has to rewrite the law. Courts can't do it by reinterpreting what Congress wrote. But the tension worth understanding is if the Merit Systems Protection Board truly cannot function because its leadership has been removed, then federal employees with legitimate workplace complaints might have nowhere to go. The appeals court was trying to solve that real problem. Justice Thomas's view is that's not the court's job to fix, even if the result is unfair. This case matters because it affects how federal employees can challenge workplace decisions. For now, the law still requires them to go through the Merit Systems Protection Board, even if that board isn't working well. If you're a federal employee with a complaint, you can't just skip that process and sue in regular court, even if the special board is broken. The Supreme Court also sent a message to appeals courts. Stop deciding cases on issues the parties didn't raise. This is the second time in recent years the court has reversed this same appeals court for doing exactly that. The justices are clearly frustrated with the pattern. The deeper lesson is that our legal system depends on a balance. Courts interpret laws as written, but only when parties actually ask them to. When that balance breaks down, it can create real problems for people caught in the middle. Right now, immigration judges and other federal employees are stuck in that middle ground, waiting to see if Congress will fix a system that may no longer be working as intended. Find us online at 9robes.ai. That's the number 9robes.ai. Like and share this podcast with friends that like to be informed. 9 Robes provides AI summaries of U.S. Supreme Court cases. AI makes mistakes. People make mistakes too. We genuinely do our best to provide you with the most accurate summaries, but our best sometimes includes errors.